Stalking and harassment of current and ex-members. This is a short, small snippet of how Scientology attempts to silence critics, and they're good at it. Trying to leave the church. Trying to leave the Scientology is much harder than it sounds. These people will show up at your doorstep and they won't leave until, like, this is their policy. It's the rules until they're absolutely certain that you're going to call the police or hurt them in some way. They'll hire private investigators to stalk you and attempt to blackmail you using whatever information they find on you. And they do this, they figure out what they can do that is technically legal. Well, and a lot of it isn't. So that's why I want to raise awareness. They'll intentionally try to make you as mad as possible, like harass you, to the point that you want to hurt someone or yourself. Basically, they call it bull baiting. It's one of their most important TRs in order to go clear, and I forget, training something. It's basically one of their little principle, like a skill, life skill. That they train you on, apparently. So, if you do finally get them to leave you alone, like in person, they'll continuously send you mail in full color and magazines, 5 to 10 letters and magazines in your mailbox every day. So everybody around you sees it and they're like, oh, so he's Scientologist. This is what they want. And on top of that, it's they want to send a message that, like, this is very important. You need to help now. And it's more important than the environment. It doesn't matter, because if you don't help Scientology, then the environment doesn't matter anyways, because humanity is doomed. And also, it's to say that, we have a lot of money and power. We don't really need you. Like, we're trying to help you, but we're fine without you. Essentially, is the message that they're trying to send. And if you don't help, then the cause of humanity doesn't matter, because humanity is doomed. So stalking. When I was around 7 years old, 7 or 8, 9, 10, something around there, before 10, they showed up at our door, and it was my mom, my sister, and I home. My dad wasn't home. We wouldn't let them in. So they let themselves into our backyard, because we had like it's not a lock. You just kind of open the wooden door and let yourself in. They tried to get in through our back sliding glass door, but it was locked. Just trying to let themselves in for I don't know what reason, why they felt comfortable. Anyways, I told my dad about this. He was like, oh, those were just some bad apples, and that it's not like that anymore. They cleaned it up. It's different. There's new people in charge, things of that nature. So you get the idea of how they handle things. Silencing critics. If someone tries to speak out against the church, they will relentlessly stalk and harass them to try to silence them. They've gone so far as to threaten to sue journalists who've spoken out against them using their extensive legal team funded by the religious tax exemption. And they have a very large, extensive legal team. So I pulled up some news articles because I wanted to cite some sources. 1 second. I don't know how this works. I just got this laptop. Here we go. This is the first one. This is relating to the Denny Masterson case. So, in the courtroom, let me find this spot. His wife seemed ashamed and embarrassed, and avoiding eye contact, keeping her hands gripped. So this is part of the auditing that she received, that basically it's your fault and you should be embarrassed, essentially. And they do this through their auditing, and they verify that you believe it through the cans. So it makes it very difficult, because it's legitimately, that's what it is, and it works, which is why I feel these people are so dangerous. So it's very hard to speak up after that, because you genuinely believe, they make sure with the cans that you genuinely believe what they're telling you, basically. And then we go, harassment. There's not a lot of details as to what the harassment is in this one, but have you been stalked and harassed? Yes. And then the response is basically, we don't break the law. So that's what they do. They just give responses. Here's another one. Leia Remini. I don't honestly know who this is. Some actor. She received attacks directly from the leader of Scientology. At least 3 of my credit cards and 2 belonging to my assistant who makes purchases. Basically, they hacked her credit cards. They put money in her business account. One of her friends. This is a big one. They do this. Like, I 100% promise you they do this. When a friend took an Uber ride to her house in a gated community, an unauthorized car tried to sneak in and got wedged into the barrier, and they spent 20 minutes punching random numbers. This is what they do. They call it TRs. You just keep trying until in the call box, and then they backed out and sped away. So basically, their logic is because our cause is so good and that everyone else is so bad that we can do whatever it takes to protect the church, if that makes sense. 2 white men dressed in black were caught on security cameras knocking on her mother's house door at 5 a.m. So, and I 100% believe they would do this. Another one. A UK journalist was speaking out against the church, and he received 6,000 posts on X alone, calling him random insults, mentally unhinged, things of that nature. So I feel like that should give a pretty good insight as to how they operate and what their whole system is. It's just a bunch of stalking and harassment and coercion.